How you doing? I'm Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. Today's review is at Palo Outdoors in Palo, Iowa. I want to give a very special thanks to the people here at Palo for assisting me in reviewing. They have a large selection of bows. If you're in the area, make sure you pop in, check out some of the bows, tell them I sent you, and let's get into this particular bow. All right, so this is the Mission Switch. This is more of a, kind of an entry-level bow, and I'm going to do some shooting with it here. First, I'm going to do my back wall test. So very kind of a soft back wall comes off. Soft back wall comes off about a 5 out of 10, which is pretty consistent with this style of a bow. Let's shoot it through the chronograph and see what kind of speeds we get. All right, let's go over the data I got from going over the Mission Switch. So the axle to axle length, I measured 31 1/8. The manufacturer is 31, so that's typically within, specifications, about 1/8 of an inch, give or take. The brace height was 7 inches. The manufacturer's specs were 6 7/8. The draw weight was 69.9 pounds. The draw weight range for this bow is 11 pounds up to 70. The draw length, it measured 30 1/2 inch for me. The draw length range is 18 to 30. So it did come in a 1/2 inch long for at 30, which means, the speed rating is going to be a little more. And you also keep that in mind if you're a true 30-inch draw length, you may need to just double check and set the bow at like 29 1/2 inch draw to give you a true 30. So sometimes, there's a little give or take there. You might have to do a little fine tuning. So the estimated speed for this bow is 305 feet per second, and the price is around $399 US dollars. The speed for me, the average after shooting 3 hours was 302 feet per second. The average noise rating was 79.2 decibels. The back wall was soft, and it came off of the back wall pretty easy, 5 out of 10. Now down here we have the draw curve. If you look at this draw curve, and if you compare it to the draw curves of a lot of the flagship bows that I've been doing reviews on, this is a much more gradual draw curve up and down. A lot of your flagship bows are competing for speed and are trying to squeeze as much speed out of the bow as they can. So the draw curve goes up quick, stays up near the peak weight, and then drops off at the end. So with this type of a draw curve, it's going to be more comfortable for your young archer, your children and youth-aged people. So that's why you're going to see a draw curve similar to what we have here. All right, I want to take a couple more shots with it, just paying attention to the bow, not worrying about the chronograph, that kind of thing. And I want to talk about this bow a little bit. So some of the things I noticed about it, it has a good sturdy feel to it. All right, a couple observations. I'm looking at the cable system here, and the piece that goes over the end of the axle for the yoke, I'm not sure what holds it in place other than the force of the bow. Well, with that type of thing, if you were to accidentally dry fire the bow, there's more of a chance of something popping off, I would think. But let's take a few shots with it here. So it has a good feel to it as far as when it goes off, very little vibration in the bow. So it has a good feel when it goes off. One thing to be mindful of if you're shooting a bow like this, a lot of these entry-level bows, the way they're designed, there's kind of a soft back wall, and let me just show you, you can pull into it harder or softer, and that can change where your arrow hits. So watch. So I'm at full draw here, but I can pull back harder. So there's this pocket right in here. Depending on where I'm at, I could also creep a little bit. Like as you're letting go, you start to let your hand come forward a little bit as you're releasing. Those types of things can cause problems in your accuracy. So you just need to pull back and try not super hard though, and be consistent with where you're anchoring, because being that these types of bows, and it's not just this bow, but a lot of these entry-level type bows, they have a soft back wall and you can move around in that pocket back there, and that can have an impact. So you just want to be sure you're trying to be consistent with your anchoring each time and where you're how far back you're pulling. So you don't want to pull super hard, but you do want to hit the back wall to the full extent. But all in all, it shoots very nice, and it does have some good adjustability. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos on bows in this price point. Make sure you stay tuned for those to get some ideas on all these different bows and make a decision for which one would work best for you. But as far as this one goes, it does shoot very nicely. You just need to be a little careful that when you're at full draw, you're all the way back. So when you're setting the draw length, make sure you're setting it short enough that you're totally coming into the back wall. So let me give you an example. I am a 30, let's say I was a 29-inch draw. And let's say the bow was set at 30 inches. It might be a little harder for me to really hit the back wall, and I might get a little mushy. Now if I was set at 29 though, I'm going to be all the way against that back wall at full draw. So my point is, make sure you do get the right draw length setting for you, and it might be a little better to err on the side of short to make sure you're all the way in the back wall, and that's going to help you be consistent in the big picture. Another thing I'll mention about this bow is the grip is rubberized and it's fairly thin, and I do feel like it's a grip that I would be able to have a consistent grip each time on. Having that rubberized grip is helpful if you're going to be doing any hunting, because sometimes in hunting situations it's cold out and the riser itself is aluminum and that gets very cold. So when you go to pick up the bow for something like that, having rubber there, it's easier on your hand so your hand doesn't get super cold in that hunting situation. Another thing you'll notice about this is it has a double yoke system. So it's a cam, it's oval in shape. Cams can store more energy than if it was a cam and a round wheel on the other. That would be a single cam bow. So you have a double cam system and a double yoke system, and that enables you to manipulate for cam lean in the tuning. So if the cam is leaning one way, you can add twist to the yoke in that side and bring it back, or bring it to the right angle. It does have a roller slide system, a roller for the cables, which is pretty standard on one of these more entry-level bows. One thing about I noticed though is it doesn't have any adjustability, so if you're having any issues with fletch clearance, fletch is hitting the cable itself, you'll have to twist the arrow just a little bit to move it out of the way, since there's no adjustability for that. But it looks like it's far enough over that shouldn't be a problem. Well, I am Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. I hope you will subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. I hope you'll like this video, share it with others, and also check out all the videos that I'm making on compound bow reviews. Until next time, take care and God bless.